Hello and welcome to Redshirt Cinema Club, a podcast about fandom and watching movies with friends. We're about to tackle the big one, the MCU, the biggest movies, the most fervent fandoms, opinions so divisive they could probably split a continent in half and sink the entire west coast of America, which, coincidentally, is Lex Luthor's plan in Superman the movie, the film we're watching today to kick off our three-part miniseries of pre-MCU superhero flicks before we take on the main event. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a podcast.
Hello and welcome to Redshirt Cinema Club. Today I am your host, Nathan Dighton, and I'm joined by Robert Pearson.
Hello.
And David Jackson.
Hello.
Just want you to know, if we were doing the old style, pretending they were all characters, I'd have been Jor-El. Rob would have been Lex Luthor, obviously.
Yeah.
Why?
Bald maniac.
You've got no hair.
And you'd have been the little guy that follows him around.
That's shit.
That's what I'd have done, though. Ned Beatty, that would have been you.
Right.
Today,
I'd be Clark Kent, clearly. Not Superman, Clark Kent.
maybe when he was like when he's a toddler and he picks up the car.
No.
He looks a bit like you.
No, he doesn't.
He does.
Clark Kent looks like me.
I would say that none of us look like Clark Kent. I think we're all equal there. You've probably already guessed, listeners, that we are watching Superman from 1978.
Not from 1987.
No, you nearly got.
That was
Superman
a
the
Hindi
movie.
version.
To give it its full title,
Was that this
Superman
one?
the movie.
Yeah, as opposed to, well, I guess that is interesting because the reason that we're here is we are shortly to embark upon some watching of the MCU, which has gone down. That announcement went down generally very well.
Okay.
And I think people like the idea of us having a bit of a mission, putting a bit of structure back into the pod, and then from a handful of people, incredible violent dissension.
Oh,
really?
Didn't want it. People were like, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm quitting. No, like I'm just not going to listen to you anymore. Some people who support the podcast. So
Fair enough.
You want to take their opinions in
I think
respectfully.
that's I think that is a kind of indictment of where we are
Culture.
with the MCU at the moment.
Oh yeah, fair.
I
thought I was going to go wider. I was going to say with humankind.
Well, I say that without knowing why exactly they are angry about this.
To be fair, I didn't ask.
No, but yeah, fair enough.
People have their opinions.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're here because we thought we'd do a little bit of a palate cleanser after our Nolan series, just looking at some pre-MCU superhero films. This was my choice, and I'd not seen it in full for a while, and we will be following up with Rob's choice, which is Batman Returns.
Yes.
And Dave's choice, which after a lot of whinging about how he doesn't even like superheroes, he chose Constantine. You asked at one point if you could do Men in Black.
Yeah. Well, Men in Black, it was based on a comic. So I realise that's not a superhero, but do you know what the C in
MCU?
No, that's cinematic. And I realised that as I was saying it. So comics, anyway. Comics.
You know that
do you know where superheroes are from? Comics.
Some of them.
Yeah, including my superheroes from Men in Black.
Yeah.
Agents J and K.
You may as well have asked if
who
we
I
could
love very dearly.
watch the Mouse movie. Just like, can we watch that Holocaust movie? I think because that was a comic book originally, wasn't it?
God, oh yeah, Mouse.
Terrible
M-A-U-S.
Yeah.
Great.
Mouseschwitz. So
Constantine, anyway.
Yeah, we're doing Constantine. But the Superman the movie, I guess because a lot of these things had a bit of a past as being TV serials. So, and that is referenced at the beginning of this film.
It is.
So we're holding off because it takes time before launching into properly doing like full context and storytelling between each film until we start the MCU. But a little bit of the Superman film, you would have had no. Well, for one, Rob, have you seen it before?
I have, but so long ago that the intro confused me because I was like, I thought these bad guys were the bad guys in Superman 2.
Yeah.
And I think they are. And then
spoilers for me.
It's like
there.
a big setup, right? General Zod.
Yeah.
Terrence Stamp is fucking great.
He's really mean.
So good. And I was really excited. Like, this is that film. And then it wasn't that film. And they're just not in it again. Like
I had the same thing.
Is that big pre-planning, or was that just like a throwaway scene for
they
fans?
They were filming them both at the same time.
Were they? Oh, man.
They filmed for 18 months.
Wow.
And then so Richard Donner was the director. Richard Donner had just come off The Omen. And because it was such a big, I guess they wouldn't have called it this IP, but like such a big brand, such a big character with a big history looming large, I think we're quite lucky to have ended up with the film that we got. There were like almost every director was associated with it. I think that this was in sort of pre-production through the 70s, from like 73 onwards. Different people, and it's like a real mix of... it's a real crossroads of filmmaking. You had the studio system was kind of still around, but declining. You had James Bond was like so many of the people attached had either directed James Bond movies or had appeared in James Bond movies. And I guess you're thinking this is a big sort of male hero character. Maybe that's the vibe we're going for. And then at the same time, you've got new Hollywood and sort of interesting things happening, which is probably Richard Donner was like a younger director who, like I said, just had directed The Omen, and that's kind of where they went in the end. And the producers were the Salkins, who are like just not really part of the Hollywood establishment or coming through a studio, independent producers. So, you know, we talk about like Dino De Laurentiis or like people who are making their own way in the 70s, but you get odd films sometimes. And they put it together, and Superman movies get weirder and weirder. This one was a big success, and then the next one they had planned, which is very unusual to do both films at once. But they fell out with Richard Donner so badly that a British director called Richard Lester, who directed A Hard Day's Night, the Beatles movie, he took over. He came in to help them. He directed, I think you know these from TV for some reason, I'm sure, Dave, the Three Musketeers movies from the 70s.
I don't remember.
No, I remember that you do. And obviously, okay. I've misremembered. But he directed the two of those,
right.
Three and then Four Musketeers, with Michael York from Logan's Run and other bits and pieces. Okay. And he had fallen out massively with the Salkins. And then he came on board to help in the role of sort of like a executive producer, basically a go-between, just a producer or creative producer or something. But as a go-between between the Salkins and Donner, he came on board and said to Richard Donner, like, don't take this job. That was his initial advice. And then he was only doing it to get paid for the work that he hadn't got paid for last time he'd worked with them. But then he ended up taking over Superman 2, reshot about 2/3 of the film. And
God, making films is a pain in the ass, isn't it?
Yeah, why does anyone bother? It's crazy.
God.
But that's so I watched this. I had really watched these Superman movies when I was a kid. Remembered the street fight of the three bad guys that get put into I believe it's the Phantom Zone, and was just waiting for that to happen, because they're at the beginning of the film. But that didn't happen. Dave, have you seen this film before? No,
not that I can recall. So I don't think so.
Oh, no.
I don't think I've seen any of the although I just had a memory of him flying around the world quickly to go backwards in time, and I don't know if he does that in any of the other movies, but no. That was just like I just knew he was going to do that. That
somehow. Would be disappointing, wouldn't it? If you're like, oh, that's what he's done again.
He's just gone back in time again. So yeah, this was my first my first experience of it.
So you've not seen any of the newer ones either?
Like none of the Christopher Reeves ones.
Right.
I don't think I've seen any of the. Wait, is Henry Cavill Superman or he? Yeah, and then he came back. I've seen Batman versus Superman.
He's doing an impression of me here.
I told you, I just don't care about superheroes.
No, shut up.
I really don't.
But look, you're going to.
No, I don't have to. I don't have
several hours.
That'll be the question we ask at the end of every podcast.
Yeah, do
you care about superheroes?
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I don't. So yeah, this was my first experience of it. So it's quite strange. My sort of like bottom line is I think it's a big mess that I enjoyed.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a lot of fun, but I found the pacing so weird. I kind of we discussed. Obviously, there's this whole intro sequence which
it's like two separate movies, right? It's like a 45-minute,
it's literally
quite good prologue,
yeah,
and then a slapstick weird fucking thing afterwards.
It changes gear so much when we get to the Daily Planet and Clark Kent joins the Daily Planet, and suddenly it's like just a completely different movie. It's so funny. They're so
wild
good.
I was thinking about this yesterday because that's the stuff I remember. That's why I wanted to watch it. I think Reeves or Reeve. I'm not even sure which one.
yes, good. I'm not sure.
He's incredible. I think he's a good Superman. He's
so
incredible
good as Clark Kent.
Yeah.
He's so good as Clark Kent.
And there is no
Reeve.
relationship whatsoever between him as a whatever he's supposed to be, because I think Reeve is 26 in the film, like when he's filming it, and the guy who's playing him as a teenager who looks to be about 20.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
No.
Even though he's wearing, you can see it because it's yellowed.
Yes.
Like he's wearing a big prosthetic nose
Yeah.
to try and make him like, that did not help.
No, it
They should
didn't.
have just had Christopher Reeve in that bit.
A giant high schooler.
6'4". They'll
Well,
build
they got-
special sets.
He looked like a, early 30-year-old man
Yeah.
playing the 18-year-old version.
I laughed out
He looked
loud
younger,
when
really.
he ran the speed of a train, or faster than a train.
That's so good.
I just couldn't get on board with that. I was like, I was mystified by how they'd done it, and I appreciated that. And we've talked about this loads, like physical effects. I was like, this is cool. He's doing this. I don't know how they're doing it, but it also looked ridiculous. That the speed was all wrong. He's just laughing.
Well, even between the close-up shots and the mid shot where you can see him and the train in the same on the same screen.
Yeah.
he's moving quicker. Like his arms are going back and forth faster in the wide
Yeah.
than they are in the close-up, because he's really chilling out in the close-up.
So strange. And I think like Christopher Reeve does, it's a silly thing, isn't it? Like the whole Clark Kent is basically Superman with glasses on. And I
Yes.
think he does a great job of differentiating those characters.
yeah, yeah.
It makes it believable that no one looks at Clark Kent and sees Superman.
Well, they
He
also-
does that transformation, doesn't he, in Lois's apartment,
yeah.
where she
Yes.
goes off to do something, and he takes his glasses off and like stands up a little bit taller.
Yeah.
And you realise what he's doing.
And his voice
For a
is-
moment,
his
he's
voice is
like, I'm going to
different.
tell her that
Yeah.
I'm Superman.
Lois.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think that's great. Like he is an amazing Clark Kent. It's so funny, so sort of bumbling and nice.
He's perfect.
And
The bit where he catches the bullet and he almost does a little smile to the camera.
yeah.
There is, I think this time, so my previous, it's funny going back and watching something you watched quite a lot as a kid, and I'd forgotten, I must have watched this a fair few times, and the things which, one, I was also struck by the length of that prologue, 45 minutes, because my child mind was like, there's this bit and then there's all the stuff I like where he's flying around as Superman. So I expected that bit to be about 15 minutes long. And also just what did I remember from that? Did I remember the names of the kids that he was at school with? No, I didn't even, if you'd asked me if he played like American football, no. He kicked the ball really far.
Yeah, like that bit.
He ran really fast.
Yeah.
And he had a dog. Like those are the things. That his dad died, I honestly didn't remember. Like
No.
I was a bit, bit sad. But it did seem to be, the tone is so wildly different. Actually, one of the things which I thought this time was, I think we all think about America a lot, but in kind of an RIP, like, oh no, I'm sorry that this has happened to you, America. Like, a version of America is now gone, or if it ever existed. But the sort of myth making of what Superman represents, the best of a nation which was winning world wars and trying to spread liberty across the world, and you get these images of him as an alien, which is, I guess, this is whole Superman thing about the fact that he's an immigrant and like becomes the best of America. But just there's a few wide shots of him on like that farm. And where is he supposed? I guess it's always Smallville, right? It's supposed to be everywhere in Middle America where they grow corn. But just this sense of like simple but virtuous young men who come from the middle of America and then go off and do great things in the world, which is like part of that, certainly like World War II story. It's so.
He literally says it, doesn't he? I think one of her questions is like, "What? Why are you here?" or whatever, and he's like, "To fight for justice and truth and the American way."
Yeah,
it's like just. It was struck me. He was just like, "There's no bones about it."
Or
it's
even
like,
Clark sending the money back to his mum, and then her asking like, "Was it? Are there any more like you?" And he was like, "Not really."
Yeah,
like, which is also, and one of the things I really did enjoy a lot, apart from, like I said, I've always really enjoyed those scenes in the Daily Planet with Clark, the screwball comedy-ness of them. And it's weird when you're traveling through kind of film history backwards, as most of us are. I saw this, and then much later on I saw the screwball comedies like His Girl Friday set in newsrooms, which this was definitely kind of riffing on, and you kind of go, interesting.
Yeah.
And there's a real joy to them, but also just the fact that big decision made to make that room, it isn't really set in the 70s. Like, it's all the suits are cut. They're sort of real mid-century or earlier, like 30s to 50s style suits. Everyone's wearing hats. It's from a different kind of time, and I guess more in line with when the comics were first really, really popular. But those are the things I loved about it, and loved about it again. Almost everything else, from the action to the bad guys onwards, I didn't actually get much from this time. What did you enjoy, Rob, or not?
I actually enjoyed the prologue more. I thought it was it felt like a different kind of movie, not just in terms of the tone, but also how it looked. I thought some of the shots were incredibly beautiful. Obviously, they're using, presumably, miniature sets quite a lot of the time.
Yeah,
there's the bit
so.
where the dam breaks and you can clearly see it's a tiny little plastic village being overrun by water. But I thought Krypton looked fucking cool. I thought... I found it interesting how Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman received top billing.
Yeah, big lads.
And then the title Superman comes on, and then Christopher Reeve's name comes up.
They were both Oscar winners already.
I mean, it's a big pull, isn't it? And I think it's similar to how Jack Nicholson also got top billing in Batman ahead of Michael Keaton. And I don't know where superhero movies were at the time, whether there was a need for them. And it's almost like Alec Guinness being in Star Wars to legitimize these sort of like comic book, fantasy, sci-fi types of film. We've got to get like a big, respected, Oscar-winning actor in there to just ground it a little bit. And he has a similar sort of role, doesn't he, to Obi-Wan in Star Wars as... It's Jor-El, isn't it? It's
Jor-El,
Superman's dad's name. I enjoyed him in it. I think, well, I've got a hot take, guys. I think Marlon Brando's quite good at acting. It's just so, even if he's just there phoning it in, there's just something about him and his presence and his voice that
I agree with
just
you.
like, holy shit.
Entirely. And just on how much phoning it in he was, I think he was paid either $3 or $4 million out of a budget of, I think, 50, and that was after all the really long production. I think he was there for a really limited number of days because they were trying to keep that price down. So they shot all of his scenes like in a block, and he refused to learn his lines. So he was using cue cards all around the set.
He seems like an absolute prick, Marlon Brando.
But you're right, he's really good.
You just got to... Is it Apocalypse Now? He's in as well.
Yeah,
I saw this online recently where he's in that very briefly, right? And he turned up apparently drunk to set again, refused to learn his lines, and was like, there's something physically wrong with him. I can't remember what it was.
He's massively overweight.
They had to shoot him like in darkness in his shadow.
He's supposed to be a special forces colonel.
But that scene's fucking amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
He's so good.
It's like we have to tolerate how much of an arsehole this guy is just because he's Marlon Brando and he's so good.
At what point in your career do you get, as an actor, do you get to say, I'm not going to learn my lines, and like tell people, by the way, I'll do it, but I'm not going to learn my lines? Like, you must have to. What was the watershed moment where he was like, do you know what? I just don't think I need to. I don't think I need to.
Probably post Godfather.
I'll tell people.
He was slightly I think there were troubles. I think he was just a genuinely troubled man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure he was deciding.
Right.
Do you know what? I think I can get away with it. I've never liked lines, so I won't do them now.
He says everything he says in the film quite well. I really like the... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say he's got that British accent, which is a choice.
It's unbelievably good. I was
It's
like,
really
wait,
good.
Marlon
Yeah,
Brando. I had to look him up. I was like,
Yeah.
Marlon Brando is not British. No, he's American.
He is,
and I really enjoyed, it reminded me of Doctor Who, the scene right at the beginning where he's condemning General Zod and his two leather-clad friends to whatever purgatory he sends them to.
It's
and
that pane of glass.
all of the other super people are just project. It's like a Zoom call. It's like a Krypton Zoom call. It's like, what's your verdict? And they're all just guilty, blah, 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 blah,
Just
blah.
really old faces.
I really liked it. It's like being on the Time Lord's planet in Doctor Who.
Well, the other thing about just getting older and experiencing cinema backwards is that the council, the number one guy on the council is a guy called Trevor Howard, I think that's his name, who's like a British actor he's like in Brief Encounter. He's in a million war films that you'd have seen. And the number two guy is often like the sergeant from those war films. It's just mad to see them pop up. And just now they come with a baggage, which of course, my dad was watching this in the 70s when he was 25 or whatever. I like that. He would have been aware of.
I like that. I liked that scene as well, and the sort of idea of them all looking down their massive faces. But then it is kind of a little bit ruined, I think, by the next scene where they're all just there, and they were just on a Zoom call. They were just all in their like home offices, just with the like blurred background or something. And,
they're condemning someone to death. They don't want to be
guilty.
there. You go and do it in person, Jarell, and we'll just be on the call.
I loved the sci-fi-ness of it, because I'd forgotten that I always think of Superman as just a bloke in a costume in the real world. But really there is all this lore behind his race. He's the last surviving member of whatever, the Kryptonians, whatever they're called.
That is what they're called.
Or is he?
And
where did that pane of glass go?
Well, yeah.
They went straight to Superman too.
Yeah.
General Zod and the other two. I loved Terrence Stamp's fucking great. That bit where Terrence Stamp is trying to convince Jor-El to join us. Join us.
You will kneel before me.
It's really, really good. And I was like, I can't wait for the bit where... And then I realised that's in Superman 2.
Can I explain to you, because I watched the beginning of Superman 2 right after this, because I was like, well, I need to straighten out some memories. And again, completely forgotten the beginning of Superman 2, but can I explain to you how they escape from the Phantom Zone?
Please
do.
So
I assumed, and I was annoyed by this assumption as well, that it's also just on its way to Earth, but a bit slower. And I was like, for God's sake, could they not have just...
Well, you're not wrong, although that is one of the more ridiculous bits about this.
Yeah.
So we start, it's in the Daily Planet. There is it Percy? Perry White. Is doing the front page, and its terrorists are holding hostages to ransom on top of the Eiffel Tower, and they also have a hydrogen bomb.
Oh God!
And
they're just going to drop it off the Eiffel, just lob it off.
Yeah.
And Lois Lane has gone there to report on it. So Superman immediately flies to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Where the hostages, led by Uncle Vernon from Harry Potter.
Oh God! Yeah.
Richard Griffith.
Very young. Obviously, never made that connection before. They are doing French accents and just doing business with elevators. Superman resolves the situation after Lois Lane gets caught underneath one of the elevators, and the hydrogen bomb is accidentally armed, so he flies it into space.
Nice.
Where the shockwaves break apart the prison.
No.
And the three of General Zod and his pals, I think they're called Non and Ursula.
Yeah.
They're just flying around. They're suddenly released. And so Superman turns around and goes back to Earth, and then the others follow him. That's the beginning.
So the pane of glass happened to be going past Earth at the precise moment that Superman flew into space and a hydrogen bomb went off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That. Which is the kind of shit that happens in comic books, I guess.
Yeah.
And actually reminded me, one of the things, I thought one of the interesting things in general, which maybe we can talk about in a sec, was in breaking the ground of being an early superhero movie. What does this do that older ones made better or just copied? And one of the, I think, tone management is so important. And in general, it does a pretty good job. But there is that moment where poor old Marlon Brando is saddled with saying, I'm right, in 30 days, the planet will explode. And it's like this advanced race of people, those are the stakes.
Seemed ridiculous.
It's simply going to explode.
But also, they made a big deal about how advanced they were. And he's the only one who can see this.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's not. Come on, Jor-El.
And also then, I really hadn't given this much thought when I was 7, but they send Clark away in a special crystal spaceship.
Yeah.
And
with the complete audiobooks of All Knowledge Ever, which have been recorded by Jor-El.
Yes.
So I don't know when he's been doing that, unless it's AI.
It's probably...
He's given his voiceover like Michael Caine.
Yeah. And I think in there, there's a button, and if Clark wants, he can switch to Michael Caine's voice.
Hello, son.
Well, Albert Einstein. That's a very bad Michael Caine. But at no point then, as the sun's getting closer and closer, do the council go, oh, do you know what? We should leave.
He was right.
Yeah, or you can go now. Like, once he's promised to stay, they all just stay and die.
Yeah. And I don't know why I understand why he promised to stay, but when they're in the chamber and it's all falling apart, at that point, I'm like, should we go now? We should just go.
What would the consequences be at that point?
Yeah.
You know, who's going to tell him off?
Yeah, I don't know.
They're all in denial still, even as the world is burning.
Yes.
It's like now, isn't it?
Not that advanced.
It's
I love the
like
madness
now,
of the crystal data system. I know the weirdness of like there's one green one, and they just nothing. There's so little that's explained in this movie, and in a way I sort of respect, but it can make things seem really.
I thought the green
ridiculous.
one was made of kryptonite, but it wasn't hurting
It
him.
wasn't, and so he's got this green one. They go and they bury the spaceship, or sort of. They keep it in the barn.
Yeah.
He finds the green crystal again. He knows he's got to go to the Arctic and throw it into the water.
It was quite.
I liked that.
Luke going to Dagobah, that very small
Yeah.
sequence.
And then I tried to because again he's triggered the audiobooks again, and they spent a whole year on the human heart. He was only gone for 12 years. It was like, this year we're going to learn about the human heart.
Although
so that's a whole.
there was also, I just picking holes for the sake of it, but Gerard at one point went, "It's been thousands of your years now," but then
Yes.
there was a small reference later to it not.
I didn't understand that at all, but it was fine. Like I said, I thought the pacing was weird, all of this stuff. But then even just at the end of the film, I think I paused it at like near the end because I needed the loo or something, and I was like, "There's only 10 minutes left," and I had just no sense that we were coming to the end. Really, it felt like that Superman meeting Lex Luthor and gang felt like that was going to set up a sort of more of a finale. I felt like the plan that he was foiling wasn't the final. I don't know. It just, for whatever reason, it
very
didn't
strange.
feel like we were heading for the end of the movie. And
I would say the stakes, I didn't get loads from any of that. Like, the plan really was to sit, he had like he wanted to sink California.
Yeah.
yeah, it's so brilliantly, and this, this is sort of brilliantly comic book, isn't it? I think it had a real sense, and I'm not very familiar with this, but of like Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
The sort of the Luthor and his gang,
I thought so.
Alair.
the way that they steal, or they're trying to alter the guidance system of the missiles. The stupid kind of ridiculous ways that they've all got disguises or
Just
no
the
disguises.
music that's underneath all of these bits.
Yeah.
It's like it's like Friday feature clown music.
Yes.
It was really strange to be put back into that era of, okay, what does Hollywood think superhero movies should be, or what does it think they should feel like? And we are only 12 years after Adam West's 1966 Batman movie at this point, which is, I don't know if either of you have seen it. It's the most
I haven't.
ridiculous film you'll ever see. I really, really hope that the captains vote for it.
Right.
Please, captains, make us watch the
Or
1966.
Blade.
Yeah,
Blade.
I'd rather watch Blade.
Oh, 66 Batman would be so good. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But
Holy
when
shit.
you compare them to modern
But
day,
there is, what I wanted to say was that the first 45 minutes surprised me in that I felt it was taking itself more seriously than I
seriously.
expected it was going to, and I was enjoying it. I think it was doing a pretty good job of it. And in fact, when we see him finally, Christopher Reeve in the suit in the Fortress of Solitude, and he flies off a little bit jankily, but he flies off. And I was
where
like,
has he got that
come
costume
on,
from?
Superman. This is what he was wrapped in.
Oh,
They wrapped him in those clothes when they sent him down to the planet.
Something like that.
He's in like a red and blue.
he is.
He
Yeah,
is.
he's
like
definitely had the
cloth.
color scheme.
Yeah,
really.
I know that from Kill Bill, because Bill explains to the bride right at the end how Superman is his favorite film and why Superman's his favorite superhero.
Interesting.
This year we're going to be.
It's not a costume; those are his clothes, and he gets sent to Earth in his clothes, and his costume is Clark Kent. Yada,
that is
yada.
true.
And isn't the S not for Superman?
That's
the symbol.
an invention of this film, I think.
Right.
They're all wearing letters,
Yes.
and his just happens to be S
It
for
does.
something.
It's their family coat of arms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah,
Jarrell Simpson.
not L. It should be an E for L.
Yes. Oh, do you think L's their last name? Like Jor-El, Kal-El?
Kal-El, Mrs. L.
But then the tonal shift after that, it does become. I mean, I think Lex Luthor is a shit villain anyway. He's really shit.
You can make
How
him.
are you
You
supposed
can make him good.
It's the whole thing, I guess, is the brains of Lex Luthor versus the brawn of Superman. Which one's going to win? But he's just, in this film in particular, I didn't enjoy these bits. I really didn't.
I agree with you that there's a campiness to them, which I don't. I think that most modern superhero films have definitely moved away from.
Yeah.
because there isn't. I guess it's maybe, I don't know. It's like it's a taste thing, right? It's fun. It is camp, and but when you have the stakes are, kind of clashes weirdly with his scream of anguish when he finds Lois dead and then he flies around the world, with the sort of there's an odd clash there. I think I find it much more palatable to have villains who seem just as evil and strong and serious as my superhero is.
That's why it's overkill that Superman is in this movie.
Yeah.
You don't need Superman to... I mean, you need Superman to fly around the world and reverse time and save Lois Lane, I guess. But the stakes... I mean, I say the stakes are the whole of the west coast of America is going to be blown up and going to fall into the sea. I guess that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like we need a Superman to save the day in this movie.
No, I agree. If that policeman had simply made it into the lair, he probably would have just arrested them.
Oh, yeah.
That was quite horrible.
That
I
was
thought.
a nasty way to kill someone.
There's really moments of sort of that is really nasty. I thought Lois Lane being crushed to death by the earth in a car was pretty horrible.
That scene stayed with me.
It's really real. She's, it's really claustrophobic. She's just dying for ages, and it feels kind of out of kilter with the rest of the tone of the movie. So yeah, that stuck with me as well. It was very strange.
Yeah.
But I just loved the Daily Planet stuff so much. Like not all of the characters, but the script was really funny. I thought the Lois Lane always writing about horrific stuff and needing to. There's only one peeing rapist.
Oh man!
Like
some of those jokes, like in this film especially, were just how many S's in massacre or whatever.
Yeah. And then it's a bit.
That was the last word. She's asking how to spell massacre.
Yeah, the end.
Done. I'd love to know what that last sentence is.
Yeah,
that ends with the word massacre.
And just as a little time capsule of people working on typewriters as well. I was like, holy shit! Like this is people. They made newspapers every day using printing presses and typewriters.
Which was I can't remember which newspaper it was, but that was and just again it struck me the idea of you can make so much money selling people newspapers every day that you can have a skyscraper in the middle of Manhattan, which
with its own helicopter just to be like, we need to take Lois Lane over to the airport to see Air Force One. Like I was also just thinking the same thing, like, wow, this was such big business. Like this is not far-fetched, but like I think there was like it was a bit of a script where it seemed almost so clever that I wasn't sure I'd understood it right, where I think Perry is like he says like mine's black and 2 sugars or something, and then what's his name, Jimmy's like, yeah sure, and he's like, don't call me sugar, which he hadn't, and it was just like this. That's so clever and funny for this little tiny throwaway thing that I think I've actually missed it, and I'm not sure that I've got it. I just thought the dialogue's really snappy and all those people working together. I saw a TikTok a few months ago which was just talking about one of these scenes actually and just the brilliance of it, and I'd forgotten I'd seen it and really what the TikTok said until I realised like, oh my God, I saw a TikTok about this. And then there's a whole sequence which is just all one shot through the Daily Planet, it is really, really impressive.
That's why I like that, and like just the fact that his doors go both ways and it's split in half, like just all of the business around that, the choreography. And
I didn't notice it watching it until I noticed it, and I mean that in a good way, where that's what's so impressive. And they're all, it's probably a couple of minutes, this shot where it just goes through the Daily Planet. Clark's really funny, gets his coat caught in the ladies' room door and stuff, and then he just can't get a lift. No one wants to get in the lift with him, and it's just all in one shot. And I just thought it was really, really brilliant. I think
the idea of this city that's just hostile to a nice man.
Yeah,
the idea that someone that tall and handsome wouldn't be getting along fine.
Yes,
that's maybe.
Well, he does seem to be getting along fine because Perry's immediately brought him in and being like, this guy's good.
But then also,
he's got the incredibly fast typing speed.
I really hoped we would see it as well. I was sad when he wasn't there going
super typing.
Yeah. Done. That was a shame. But
how would you feel if you were, and how do we feel about the ethics of this? Conducting a relationship with one woman as 2 different people. Would you ever be jealous of one of yourselves?
It's absolutely wrong, and I was struck by how weird it is that he's as Clark Kent. And I kind of always think of Clark Kent as the real him. And then it's interesting that you said what they say in Kill Bill, where Clark Kent is the costume. And it's like, that's true, isn't it? I guess it is.
Also, it's also not true.
It's also not true.
It is true. but it's also not true.
Yeah.
But
And
it
aren't
is
we
true,
all?
though.
Don't we all?
I
Don't we
don't
all
know
wear masks?
because he's
Clark-
not like Superman
Clark Kent
as a boy.
is how Superman perceives the human race.
But
That's also what Bill says in Kill Bill.
But
Right.
there are more of Bill's opinion.
We should watch Kill Bill.
IMD Bill. What I was going to say was that I think there's you can make a case that in being brought up as a person, that's kind of his whole thing, is that he lands in America and then he lands in this all-American family. He has these kind of parents and this upbringing and there's all those traditional values and that he's got this kind of like grounded down at home. So, and that is him too. That's real. So in a way, Clark is real, but I guess he literally doesn't talk like that. So it is also a disguise.
He's hiding himself. I think this is quite bleak. The parenting that he receives. He's basically told to repress himself.
Kinda.
And the motive behind it is because the parents don't want someone to take him away. It's selfish from the parents.
But then also...
They are right, though, aren't they? He would be studied and like it wouldn't be a good experience
I
for him.
don't know if it would be or not.
I actually really like that scene where he was kind of like, I can score a touchdown every time if I want. And his dad then says, he does say, we don't want anyone to take you away, but he also says, I think you're here for a reason, and I don't think that reason is scoring touchdowns. I thought that was a really good line.
Yeah.
And
Well, it comes back later, doesn't it? He hears it in the clouds, I think.
and I quite like that was
Mufasa
positioning.
comes to him. In the sky.
But that was also like a really direct positioning of his two father figures in opposition, where Jor-El is, you are forbidden to interfere in the history of mankind. And then his dad's like, you got to do something.
Yeah.
And I quite like that. I quite like that that's sort of two philosophies clashing and he decides to intervene.
Yeah.
It's cool. He's just using his, he's safe scumming, isn't he? He's just going back to a previous save so that he can
This is
keep
not
his party alive.
a fun observation, but just as a father of an almost 2-year-old, it would be impossible to get a kid to suppress their super strength. Like, I'm thinking, like, it's lucky that he landed in the middle of nowhere, because if he'd landed in, in my terraced house back garden and I had to take care of him, everything will be smashed to bits immediately. No way you're telling a kid, like, don't run really fast, don't kick the ball really far, don't do it.
He does a really good job of. There's a scene where he hugs his mum.
Yeah.
And he's like, he gives her a really tight hug. And like, he's got to be really careful
That's
there.
0.01%.
Otherwise, his mum's just crushed to death.
Yeah.
There are loads of nerd conversations about, I mean, they kind of, Lois basically asks him, there was way more risque stuff than, again, when I was 7. I didn't realise what Lois was asking.
Yes.
But he's like, do your bodily functions work like normal? And there are all those nerd conversations about, would Superman kill a woman if he, whatever, which I'm glad we're not going into. But just those that are well worn. And what I was going to say was, as much as they're patting themselves on the back that Clark has not joined the football team or whatever, he's literally running next to a train.
I know.
Where
He's
people
giving
can
the whole
see
game
him.
away. I was like, this is surely not okay. Literally, someone sees him and could warn the whole carriage.
No one would believe, though, would they?
Well, no.
It's
I think
pre-camera
you'd
phones.
get away with that, I think, if you were Superman.
Pre-camera phones is a good point.
Have
Yeah,
you guys-
well, much easier to be Clark Kent in 1950 or whenever this is set.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, Clark Kent. I mean, they were literally, obviously the whole weird lip thing was on a camera phone for the Justice League
Yeah.
promo.
The weird lip thing.
Oh, that was what a disaster. But I was going to say, it reminded me of just how good The Incredibles is. Where,
Yeah.
Dash, do you remember Dash's sports
That's
day?
what we should
Where they're
watch
like,
for a bonus.
He's looking
Yeah.
at his parents in the stands and they're like, go! And then he like destroys the film. They're like, not that much, just a little bit. And
Give it a close, come in close second.
and that's what it would be like.
When he puts the whoopee cushion on the teacher's chair and the teacher's trying to convince the principal, he moves there. It's amazing. It's so good.
Such a good film.
I'd definitely like to watch that.
Let's watch it.
Captains,
Come on,
you
Captains.
must.
No, I want Batman 1966.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Incredibles
The
is so
Incredibles
good.
all day. I was surprised at how it doesn't explain some things or really poorly explains others. For example, I just didn't understand kryptonite or their explanation of it. Like, I am aware, in my awareness of is that there's like it's a rock from Krypton and it's lethal to Superman. I got that, but the explanation of it in this movie, and how Lex
did they know?
Luthor is aware of it, I have no idea, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever. And then
And he's
similarly,
really betting the farm on that, like he puts it in the. He's quite smart. He puts it in a lead container so that he baits
He does.
Superman out, and,
Yeah.
he grabs it. But then, what if he's like, kryptonite, and then eats it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what if it's just like yogurt to people from Krypton?
yeah, exactly, that wouldn't be
didn't
good.
think about
And then similarly, going back in time, it's not really. The explanation of it is purely visual, which is fine, but it's quite quick. And I was just imagining people in the cinema
Do you
who
know-
weren't familiar going, "What's happened?"
When I was a kid, I didn't really understand this until everything started moving backwards. But you
Yeah.
know, the world starts turning the other way.
I didn't notice that.
I only did for the first time last night. I was
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty clever, actually.
Yes. I wasn't really sure, like, if that's what it. Well, now that you've said that, is he turning the world the other way, or is it he's going so
Time.
fast that time goes backwards, and that's just a visual representation?
Well, as we know from our previous series, if you read the comments on, I think it was YouTube, or it might have been Patreon, time doesn't actually exist. It's just a way of measuring the behavior of matter, apparently. I don't know. But then I Googled it, and some people say it does exist. So
Right.
I don't know where I am
It's
on
just
that.
another way
It
of
definitely
controlling
exists,
us,
doesn't it? Because look, I can see it on my watch now.
Just ticking along.
Moving, ticking along, yeah.
It would be quite a revelation if it's not a thing, and I could stop
No,
aging.
it's a thing, but it's not a substance. It's not like it began.
We
It's
know it's not a substance.
well, we can't. Yeah.
it's an effect on something that does exist. It's not a thing itself. Like jam.
No, jam is a thing.
No, when you put it on toast.
It's still a thing. What do you mean?
Yep. I'm thinking differently to you.
You are.
Con-
You're thinking
conceptually.
fifth dimensionally
Yeah.
or whatever.
Superstring
I'm still on the fourth dimension.
theories.
Yeah.
Superman.
Yes.
I didn't really think that it was okay. You can't just drop people in prison.
That really encapsulates where we're at with the sort of slapstick kind of
the verisimilitude.
again, that sort of Adam West Batman sense of it. Like the governor's practically sort of like in his pajamas and just being just like, God bless you, Superman.
Yeah, that was-
we'll take care of these guys. The streets are a lot safer tonight.
Yeah.
It was like, that was just craziness. Miss Tessa Macker, is that her name? What's her name?
What is her name? Because she's got such an incredible set of syllables.
I have never heard of her before. I don't know if she must be not an invention of this movie. She must be from the comics. But she so easily just releases Superman from his weird, watery, submerged station grave. Which is
She does a good job.
She does.
Just leaps into that pool.
Yeah, and Lex Luthor, he's a weird guy, isn't he? He's prepared to kill millions with his plan.
Yeah.
but he also prepared to put up with the incompetent Otis and Miss Tessa Macker. What is it?
Tessmacher, yeah, who was invented for the film I've just read.
Oh, right, okay, that's interesting. I wonder why, but she had so that she would release Superman. I guess they were like, shit, we need him to get caught, but then we need him to be released.
Yeah.
Can't be Otis. No one would buy that. We need
Whoever else is in
a
the
more
room.
sympathetic character.
I was intrigued by the idea that the lair was some kind of underground station.
Abandoned station or something.
And there were different routes to different platforms.
It had a pool.
But it also had like a shopping area. There was signs for... So that's cool. But the pool was just flooding, I think.
Yeah, but it looked nice.
It did look nice.
Not like flooding.
No. And there was a shot, I think it's of the old Penn Station. Because it's not Grand Central, is it? So they're in New York.
Yeah.
And they leveled that for... It's underneath Madison Square Garden.
That was the other thing, that we were just in New York. And I realised they have to film somewhere, and it's, Metropolis is just going to be a big American city. But going to the Statue of
Yeah, that's
Liberty
a weird choice.
was like, oh,
Why go
but this
there?
really is New York. And I
Yeah.
know it's not. We are in Metropolis. But it's like, does Metropolis have a Statue of Liberty? It
does.
I'm going to Google it.
Does it?
Well, obviously.
Well, it does
Well, it
now.
does in this
It
film.
does. It just felt like and I wonder if that speaks a little bit to kind of the the sense of how important the lore of like comic books is compared to. They were like, well, no, we just need them to do a romantic thing. Of course, they're going to go around the Statue of Liberty. That would be cool.
Apparently, in some classic comic issues, it does have a Statue of Liberty.
Well, shut my mouth.
Well, I guess at some point it's just because they were just calling New York by a different name.
Yeah.
And then they called it by another name in something else. And
They were probably just describing it as a metropolis, and then that got an accidental capital M one day, and then it was like, oh, so they're in Metropolis.
I always liked that the whole kind of Gotham and Metropolis just being mirror versions of the same place that told you something about the world that they were set in and the characters and the accumulation of that kind of tone and atmosphere of those.
But is Metropolis on the west coast of America, though?
No, it's on the East Coast.
And Lex Luthor's plan is just to destroy the west coast.
Well, his plan is to,
not including Metropolis.
to make a new West Coast, which he owns.
The Gulf of Lex, or whatever he calls it.
yeah. An Otisburg.
So this is the slapstickness that's really jarring, because it's a diabolical plan
Yeah.
to cause an earthquake that makes the whole of the west coast fall into the sea.
Yeah.
My impression going into this was that the special effects were all right, and I have to say they were not. I even thought the miniature stuff. So this is came out 1 year after Star Wars, which I think. I mean, not that there wasn't other really interesting miniature stuff going on, but known for the sort of the motion. What was the Dijkstra camera called? Maybe it's called fucking Dijkstra Flex or something.
I can't remember.
But he, the motorized camera movements, which meant that they could film the same. They could film the composite different elements and have exactly the same shot. And that first shot of Krypton, I was kind of like, is this supposed to be a model? You know what I mean? Like that, and Marlon Brando's going to be like, and here's our model of Krypton. And it's going to
map room
because we're blowing up. And it was like there was tiny shakes. And I guess when you're trying to give that sense of scale, like here is a model, but really it's huge, you have to be so not shaking in order to give it any kind of gravitas. Yeah,
I was thinking about that, just about the opening credits. Just everything was so hard. We've got it so easy now. Everything was so hard.
Oh my God, the opening credits. They made it harder than they needed to.
Yeah.
Just scroll the rest.
Yeah. I know.
Fucking hell. Do we need to know that the runner is John, what's his name?
Runner.
It's a good bit of music though, isn't it?
It is a good bit of music.
John Williams doing him.
He's done it again.
I mean, he's right. This is right in the middle of Star Wars, Close Encounters, which Spielberg directed instead of this, and Indiana Jones. It like in terms of, it's like if you hadn't seen this before, and you've probably heard the music, but it is like discovering an album from a band you love that just sits right in there. It's got the sound that you fell in love with in the first place. You can see how it lines up with all the others.
And I don't know how he's done this. It's just great, but it's just like this. The sort of lead in is just so good for film. It's like he's a film composer. It's like Superman's in the background, like he's far off and he's approaching. There's a bit of it where I think he's going into a phone booth. Like midway through watching this, I remembered like, oh yeah, he changes in a phone booth, and I enjoyed the little joke where he went to a phone booth and it was like, it didn't have doors or anything, and he was like,
I bet that was a good 1978 joke. I bet in 1978
that
they
was
all
funny
going
stuff.
Around being like, my God, phone booths are shit nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah, you don't
Do you
even
remember
get a whole
you used to be able to walk into a phone booth and now you can't?
Yeah.
I bet that was a brilliant joke in 1978.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good joke
also,
in 2026.
He morphs into his suit at one point. Like, what the fuck
I
is he
wanted to
doing
complain
there?
about that as well.
Yeah.
But
And his
before
glasses morph off as well.
I just wanted to say that I was like excited, like I was like, can't wait, he's going to be Superman. It's great. But yes, that was rubbish.
There are different parts of the music because I was enjoying the I was like, wow, this is really setting it up.
There's another big theme,
and that's very Indiana Jones. Is it like really similar?
It is, and there's so many. Whenever I do the music out loud, I often go from whatever the Indiana Jones theme is, which I've now forgotten as well.
But then a minute or two into the credits, you get the bit of music which is just hilarious because I think it's probably like of all the classical Hollywood themes, the one which definitely has words to it that no one sings. Do you know what I mean? Like just it's just Superman.
Superman.
Like when I was a kid, that was of course just running around saying Superman.
There was some sort of incidental music which I felt completely indistinguishable from Star Wars incidental music, where I was just like, this you could have played me this and told me it was in Star Wars and I would have absolutely agreed.
Maybe he was we don't need that bit for Star Wars.
We
this
should
bit where Luke flies, I'll just take this over.
We should do John Williams theme rankings at some point.
I would enjoy that.
Great.
And just a John Williams quiz.
Do you know what I'd enjoy? All the copyright strikes that we'd get for trying to play them on.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. We blank them out, and then we just give our answers, and it would be great for the listeners.
Yeah, we can just tell them what to listen to on Spotify.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's that bit which really feels like flying as well.
What do you mean? Oh, music. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. And that, yeah.
But you know what doesn't feel like flying? Any time that Superman's flying.
That is true.
He's got the turning circle of like a train.
Have you seen?
Like, here I go.
Have you seen the TikTok videos where there'll be a guy? It's like lad culture. There's a guy in a car, and the shot is looking at the guy driving, and obviously one of his mates is in the back, and comes out the window and goes outside the car.
I have seen that.
It's like, mate, knocks on the roll down the way. Do you know where the nearest Weatherspoons is? Thanks, pal.
Yeah,
I do feel like that we should
good.
have a counter per episode, and if we get to more than 3 mentions of I saw this TikTok, then we have to shut down the podcast forever. I feel like we should have a hard cap.
Or maybe we should.
It can't just be I saw this thing.
Maybe it should be Redshirt
We
TikTok
see lots
Club.
of things on TikTok, and it's great.
Just got to wait till the next episode to tell us about them.
But this specifically is very relevant. It's about how Superman flies.
It is true, and also I have a further point on the flying, which is just calling into doubt the physics of Lois flying.
Yes.
And being able to completely fly herself as long as they're in any kind of physical contact whatsoever.
She must have a core of steel. He's man of steel. She's core of steel.
But if he's flying at a fast enough speed, maybe it works.
The aerodynamics.
Also, there's the bit where he catches the helicopter in one hand. So he is so strong. They could probably lift her up with just the tip of his finger.
Yeah.
If you've ever had like a bag of shopping on a bike, and you know what I mean, like it would be more like that. And let me tell you,
It does shopping on a bike.
It doesn't like a plastic bag.
Yeah,
and I'm like
I know
holding on
what
with
you
one, and the bag is just like whoa, and that would be her. She'd be flapping around all over the place. Shoulder would be out of the socket. It would be awful.
I enjoyed that. You know, he rescues a cat from a tree, and then the girl goes inside, and she's like, "I just saw this guy just flew down and rescued the cat," and you just hear the mum go, "I told you not to lie."
I thought that slap was super dark.
Wow, just a massive slap.
Wow.
That's it. Cut away. That's that scene.
That's
done.
how we make American children.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be funny or not. Like
Again, in 1978,
yeah,
probably
it's just
really
like-
funny.
just did that. I think in 1978, that's just like that checks out. That's parenting right there.
Oh man.
I've just thought of another TikTok.
Well, that would be 3, and then
this is the
Nathan would
limit. Come on, tell us
explode.
about it.
Yeah.
Tell
It's those videos where it's like how I bathe my children, and it's sort of like the special shampoo. It's really delicate. How my mum used to bathe me. It's basically just someone just beating the shit out of someone in a bath with like shampoo all in their eyes and their face.
Yeah,
That's so true.
it is true. Parenting.
So that was Superman.
It's a mixed bag. I realised at the end that obviously that we were leading straight into Superman 2, and I was annoyed about it. I guess
it's
it
a pretty
was
solid ending.
It is a pretty solid ending. Yeah, it wasn't like unsatisfying, but I guess the General Zod stuff just doesn't come to any fruition. It just feels weird. And I guess it was like a well-known thing. You know, it wasn't like they almost needed like Superman will return in Superman 2. It must have been known.
I think at the point that the film came out, they'd paused production with 3/4 of it filmed, Superman 2.
Superman may not return.
And I think it was based, on whether it made money. And it did make money. It made $300 million.
Wow.
Off like 50 million.
Yeah,
Nice.
which is loads and loads.
In 1978, I wonder what the inflationary figures would be now.
And do you know, I don't even know what Star Wars made. I've forgotten. I think it was 400 or 500. So like the biggest films
big.
ever were like in this kind of area. But
It's an exciting time to be a cinema goer in 1977 and 78.
Fantastic.
so much. And isn't it funny that I think relevant to our current trajectory that there were more superhero movies, but not in the same way. And actually, the Superman movies followed the normal then route of sequels, where they got worse. And Reeve is still in them. Obviously, 2 is a pretty good film, and Terrence Stamp is an established actor, and he's a really good villain. And then 3, I get confused between 3 and 4. I think 3 is one where it's kind of like there's a computer turns a woman into like a robot. That used to scare the hell out of me when I was a kid. Did it also turn me on? I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't even know there was a 4.
And 4 is even worse, but it's always the Salkins. I think you get the sense that they're
It's them.
grinding
They are
money
the
out
problem.
of this. Well, then they made like a Superboy series in the late 80s. Do you know what I mean? They bought this property and they were really they were making money more than anything. Superman 3 is the one where there's like a bad Superman, where he goes bad for a while. He like flicks peanuts in a bar.
Does he have a different
He
colour
has
suit?
stubble.
Oh, stubble.
And then he fights himself in a car braking yard. Which
Oh.
I don't know, it used to really upset me when I was a child. But I must
Right.
have seen it loads of times to be that upset. Richard Pryor's in that.
I hate it when that happens in superhero films.
The
I just
emo
find it
version.
so unsatisfying, where the superhero struggles with their identity, either goes bad or spawns a bad version of them. Or they have to-
Spider-Man 3.
I know it happens in Spider-Man 3. Never happens with Batman,
He's already bad.
because he's already like it.
Yeah.
He never has to fight bad Batman.
Well, I
Maybe
guess
he
what
should
happens
meet
with Batman
good Batman.
is like at the beginning of The Dark Knight, where he's just a bit beaten up and sad. Or is it Dark Knight Rises?
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's superheroes losing their powers at the start of the next film. Stop doing it.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like a classic PS3
It's a
era
sequel
game intro,
reset, yeah.
where you start the game with every power and you're like, this is fucking brilliant.
Like God of War 2.
And then, or like Darksiders. And then it's like, actually, you're a worm. And you have to
A worm.
grow legs. So Superman continued into the 80s, but became less and less of a sort of... It wasn't like it was growing, like in the same way that
No.
the MCU
Did you guys
grew.
used to watch the New Adventures of
Oh,
Superman?
yeah, the Dean Cain one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Terry
yeah,
Hatcher.
actually,
Yeah, I used to watch that.
I enjoyed that. And then Smallville.
I never saw Smallville.
Smallville, I didn't really watch. I would watch it if it was on, but that was much more my teenage years.
I didn't watch Smallville. It was like watched a little bit on the mag. I remember having, again, I mentioned Tim Clark in the last episode. I remember having a conversation with Tim where I was like, why are you watching this show still? You're like on season 5.
I just find
And
it
he was-
so, again, very unsatisfying to have shows in and around a superhero that don't have the superhero in. Like, I've never watched. Is there another show called Gotham?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I haven't seen Gotham.
There's also The Penguin, which apparently is amazing, with Colin Farrell in it.
I heard it was
Which I-
disappointing,
which I have not
because
seen.
I know everyone was super excited
I just-
after his performance as the
I
Penguin.
don't want to watch anything that's set in the world a superhero is from if it's not got the superhero in it. What's the point?
It's funny because I want to watch lots of Star Wars stuff
I
without
know,
the heroes in it,
You always say this.
but they're not
But
superheroes.
their
So.
stories are done. Yeah, superheroes are archetypes. They're like... one of the things I do like about comic book or superhero culture is they've been going for so long. You get to a point where you're telling the same stories but slightly differently, and you have reboots and you have different versions, or like one shots, which is just an interesting idea. Like I've never actually read it, but Red Sun is just the idea that Superman lands in the Soviet Union, and
Right.
he grows up in a farm in the middle of there, and then it embodies all their ideals. What would that look like? And when you have 50 years or whatever of built up cultural meaning of this one version of Superman and how central he is to like a certain American psyche, what was it we were watching the other day? Like, and I was making the point that it's telling the same story by telling it differently. Like it's just a way to embrace or engage with the ideas because you're not doing it. It was talking about like For All Mankind and
Yes.
Star City on Apple TV, where the Soviets get to the moon first. Yeah, and it's the same kind of thing. You're then investigating, what would that look like? What would America have done in this instance? How would our values have changed? It can't just because we won or because we're strong that we're good. So I do like that about and I will like it probably about Batman, the ones that have been around for forever. I do find them, and you see it in the MCU eventually because there's so much material to draw upon. So in a way, it's interesting that first time that you tell that story. How do you tell it? Which version of it is it? and you get a very informed audience who are like, oh, he's wearing the hat from this cycle in the 60s. Well, they're doing, I wonder what bad guy they're going to put in or whatever. And it obviously ends up as an amalgam. And then I think that naturally lends itself to kind of the fucking quantum verse or the multiverse or whatever you want to talk about. But, you know, like the idea that then you can bring that into the fiction, that there are lots of different versions or something. But which isn't, I mean, it's not as interesting, I don't think. But interesting to go back to 78 when there was less of that. I think as a culture, we're much more, the internet helps us to know, you can look up all the variations on Wikipedia, you can see it all. To just be given a one-shot version of what Superman was and what he meant.
Yeah.
It's pretty earnest, but I thought it was ultimately pretty good.
Yeah, and honestly, that was... It's the most I have interacted with Superman in a long time. And like I said, I forgot like that he changed in a phone booth, sorry, and so I felt a little bit like this was my introduction to Superman.
Yeah,
which is why I think I noticed that some things are just not very well explained at all, and it must have been confusing to audiences, including me a little bit. But
I think
still a lot of fun.
In terms of like comic book films go, like it didn't grow. It wasn't like Star Wars where you get tons of science fiction movies, tons of things chasing Star Wars. And I don't really know why that was. Howard the Duck was one of the next comic books. It's a Marvel thing, I think, that which they made in, what was that, 85 or something?
No knowledge of this.
Ron Howard, George Lucas?
No.
Wow.
I like those guys.
They made a movie about a duck. So it's like Superman, but if Superman was a duck.
Like a live action duck?
A live action duck who comes to Earth. At one point in the movie, I remember that they go through his wallet and he has a small...
He's got a wallet?
He's got a condom in the wallet.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I think there's maybe pictures of his kids. I don't know.
Ducklings.
Anyway, so they...
Are they? Or has he got human kids?
He doesn't have human.
Well, I don't know if he was like, with
Duckman.
Yeah, Duckman.
He's like gone through, there's been some sort of interdimensional travel.
Oh, right, okay.
And there's like
I thought you were going to say interspecies relationship. That's what I was worried about.
Well, there is a bit where he...
Oh, no. Where he's got a condom.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack. I didn't expect any of this. Should I watch this movie?
Jeffrey, maybe we should watch it.
Well, mate, it's going on the list with It's going on the list with 1966.
I don't think we need to worry
Batman.
about people voting for Howard the Duck.
They don't want to find out about.
They will now.
I want to find out. It's George Lucas, Ron Howard, a duck with a condom.
I think it's Ron Howard. I think it's one of his first things that he directed.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Jones is in it as he's like a professor. And then at the end of the movie, like it's a sort of a weird Lovecraftian entity is the big bad guy. He's got loads of tentacles. And he's like coming to find Howard. I guess. I don't fucking know. Is Judge
Ron Howard
Reinhold
the Duck. That's
in
what
this
you've
film?
done. Maybe.
Ron Howard.
Howard the Duck. Oh no.
Yeah, maybe that is what I've done. And then anyway, Batman, which is only 11 years after, 11 years is a long time, but also we are now more than 11 years away from the first Avengers movies. We're almost 20 years away from Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that long. It's like quite a long time. It's not that long.
Yeah.
So interesting that probably like a big reference point for Batman and then Batman Returns, which we'll move on to next, was Superman. There wasn't that much in the middle through the 80s.
Well, there was Batman 66, and 12 years later there was Superman.
Yeah.
And 11 years after that there was Tim Burton's Batman.
Yep.
Has time changed? Do you think it felt like there feels like such a big difference
Time doesn't exist
in every decade?
Yeah.
And now it feels like decades. Even like ones that I have been a part of, the 80s and the 90s, and the noughties, even they felt all quite distinct, and they like have a feel. And media from that time is a great way of like tracking that. But it feels like things have become elongated slightly.
I think these things come into focus more
after the fact.
But I also do think we're in like an omnipresent of some description. Thanks to the internet.
We're in the 20s now.
We are. We're in the 20s. Yeah.
But I think people hang around for longer. Celebrities look younger for longer. There is a weirdness to that. People in their 50s still playing action roles that they would have been someone's dad.
Video games don't look as different generation to generation either.
Maybe we're entering the singularity. That'd be fun.
I'd rather go back to.
There's a look of a 90s video game.
Yeah.
Like a noughties video game has a look as well, like that sort of PS2 era. Whereas now, like the 10s and the 20s Video games look the same.
We were just talking about
The Batman.
Batman.
Mhm.
Looks, that could have been released last week.
Yeah. 2011 Arkham. No, 2015 was Arkham Knight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What a game.
11 years, the same gap between Superman and Batman. Coincidence? Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, join us. So, no bonus episode this week. That's next week. And we will put up a vote between, apparently, The Incredibles 1968 Batman
66.
and Blade and Howard the Duck. We're going to watch Batman Returns in the meantime, and we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Redshirt Cinema Club. If you're enjoying the podcast, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just check the link in the description. We'd also love to hear from you. Email us at redshirtcinemaclub@gmail.com or follow us on social media. We'll be back with another episode next Monday. See you then.